TIL A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess was written over a period of 3 weeks after he was misdiagnosed with brain cancer and given a year to live. He decided to spend that year writing 5 novels to provide for his wife after his death. Ironically, he outlived her. Now that's love. Here honey, I wrote this crazy violent book in its own slang to help take care of you. I'm not sure that I will always be able to. Confronted by a gang of potential muggers in 1970s New York, Burgess drew a sword from his cane and yelled, "Fuck off, I've got cancer." Writers used to be metal AF. Not mentioned here is he would take amphetamines to help him write 3,000 words each day. Misdiagnosed with brain cancer. Wow, takes some real yarbles to write a novel when you're Balnois in the Gulliver and all that cal. Adage, no great story ever started with a glass of milk. Anthony Burgess, Hold My Moloko, George R.R. Martin be like eyes. I love this novel for its use of the faux slang language. The first chapter is super tough to read and completely unintelligible, however by chapter 2 you begin to understand what all the slang means and it starts to make sense. By the book's end, it all reads naturally and you feel like you understand a foreign language. I have this book and it is legit one of the most difficult things I've ever read, with all of the slang and whatnot. Felt like it was written in a foreign language. I finally got through the book after reading it on and off for 2 years. It's a wonderful novel. But my god is it hard to get through Imo. His wife had also been raped by US GIs stationed in the UK. Some people are posting about Nadsat here just want to say how art influences life or vice versa. My wife is Russian and I have lived in Russia before. Russians have so many loan words nowadays from English so it's basically Nadsat in Russian. Things like, pronounced Bizenslanch, to, pronounced Kuni from Cunilingus, to my favorite, pronounced Strapen which they think means dildo but I actually tried to explain what a strap-on is and they all thought I was a pervert. Anyway, super interesting how they use the words but have little understanding of their origin or true meaning. Excellent movie. I did a written report on it as it was not on our school's banned list. It is now. He was cured, alright, damn. Really makes you think about what you could accomplish if you were in the same situation thinking you had 1 year left to live. I kind of want to go forward with that mindset. Watched this and Full Metal Jacket last night with my GF. We called it our Kubrick viewing. It was awesome. Mission failed successfully. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I never knew this but it really hits home. I was diagnosed with glioblastoma this year and had several scripts and TV pilots I had been slowly outlining. I've now decided to finish them with the time I have left and hopefully direct a short film. He wrote that crazy shit as a gift to his wife for her to remember him by. What kind of messed up relationship did they have, geez. My favorite book of all time. Had a very liberal English teacher in high school and this was on our reading list along with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. After we read the books, we got to watch the movies in class. Doubtful that would happen these days. This was 1983. Imminent Death Syndrome is one of the most prolific of inspirational muses. I'm pretty sure he was inspired to write it after his wife was raped and beaten by a group of thugs as well. Also the rape scene is apparently based off what happened to him and his wife during the war. It's been a minute, but didn't one of the characters in The Rich House have cancer? That was a very tedious article to read. He created his own slang vocabulary for that book. Well, that article was written. Right, drink some Moloko plus and go nighty-nighty. That's horror show my drug. Well. That was such a good book. If only Alanis Morissette knew about this. I heard that Anthony Burgess was actually diagnosed with brain cancer and given a year to live by his doctors, but when he told them that he couldn't pay his hospital bill they gave him another year. This gives hope to all NaNoWriMo participants. Good on him. Most people just start cooking meth in that situation. It's really bloody difficult to read too. The glossary is like the size of the book itself. His Earthly Powers is one of the few books that's embedded in my memory, after 40 years. That feels like that thing I read when Teddy Roosevelt's wife passed. Just a big X on the diary page, and the light in my life has gone out. Having someone that motivates you to be so prolific you create one of the most renowned works of fiction on earth, then losing them would be an incredible blow. I imagine it went like this: "Oh sorry old chap. I thought the headaches were brain cancer. It now appears you were stressed from overwork. My new diagnosis is you are even more stressed from even more work and now a false brain cancer diagnosis." First time reading this title I missed the words to provide. I was thinking that's kind of a fucked up book to write for your wife, but hey. So you're telling me that Anthony Burgess didn't leave his wife a dime after his death? What a rat bastard Grozny Brachny. I can't believe people aren't talking about the fact that in what he thought was his final year of life, instead of enjoying himself, he worked hard so that his wife could live well after he died. I know it's only noon here, but that's seriously the coolest thing I've learned today. Much respect to him for kicking it into such a high gear when he thought his time on this earth was limited. More fun stories about Burgess. He would have been a musician, but he flunked out of music school because he couldn't pass the math credits. Nonetheless, he still occasionally composed and even incorporated elements of musical composition into his novels. I think it was Enderby that was supposed to be understood as a sonata book. He once got so drunk that he didn't realize he had applied for a foreign service posting in Malaysia. Probably could have backed out, but decided to go anyway. This one is kinda hard to find a source on, but I read once that he was the first person to construct a language expressly for a movie. It was Quest for Fire, which was the movie that Lois Griffin starred in a porn parody of. Movie is on Netflix now. That bitch. There is a technical term for folks like him. Mad lad. Creepy old fucker. Also, the Kubrick movie was based on the US version of the book, which is missing the final chapter that the UK version still has. The US version, and the movie, have the opposite outcome and message and theme. What were the other books? Were they popular? That's the power of cramming, ha ha ha. He did not outlive his second wife. He died in 1993, she died in 2007. That is an incredible feat, when you consider he had to develop a whole world and language behind it. An interesting thing about Burgess is that after the success of A Clockwork Orange, publishers were asking him to write another book. He had a couple of manuscripts that were knocked back from years prior just lying around in a drawer which were deemed not good enough, that he then proceeded to push again as new material, which was then accepted as he had become popular. Wait, so he was dying and wanted to write books for his wife, and writes A Clockwork Orange? It's a good book, but the subject matter seems a little off to be a dying gift. I believe I've also read he came to dislike A Clockwork Orange as well and resented that it was his most popular book. That's about as ironic as rain on your wedding day, right there. Why is Trump on the background? In 1960 he wrote a brilliant book called The Doctor is Sick. The main character has some brain disease which leads to various adventures, kind of prescient. IIRC, the movie received an X rating for the violent scenes of rape. Maybe all of them aspiring writers should take a page from him and write like We Have 3 Weeks to Live. Imagine the output some of us could accomplish under that pressure. It's a damn good book. I still read it to this day. Is this what happens when you go off fuck it and write even your most stupid ideas?